During this session, we'll take a deep dive into the rich learning that takes place here at UC San Diego. We have faculty, staff, and student representatives from some of our academic divisions who are present, who will highlight their academic programs, resources, and opportunities within those divisions and those departments. We will end the session with a panel of current students sharing more about their classroom experience and how they've enhanced and paired their learning with experiential endeavors, such as research or internships, and much, much more. Before I introduce our division representatives, I wanted to take a few moments to provide a quick overview of UC San Diego's academic offerings. UC San Diego offers 140 plus majors across 8 discipline areas, and across all these areas, UC San Diego has earned a world-class reputation for having faculty of the highest caliber who write many of the textbooks. Our academic programs are strong and are focused on linking classroom instruction with relevant real-world experiences, placing students in cutting-edge laboratories, research facilities, and public service programs. With the help of programs and resources like those you see on the screen, students participate in several activities that round out their education, add to their experience, and enhance their resumes, and ultimately, their marketability. Opportunities to get involved in undergraduate research is also available through UC San Diego in all fields of study. There are programs on campus such as the Undergraduate Research Hub that empower undergraduates seeking to become integrated into the research community with the skills to be successful. All these opportunities and more can be added to what we call UC San Diego and what we like to call the co-curricular record. UC San Diego provides students with an official validated record that highlights their co-curricular experiences and the competencies that they have developed while being a student. It's printed along with their academic transcript, and it highlights things like research and academic life, student engagement and campus life, community-based global learning, and finally, professional and career development. There are so many unique academic paths, as well as opportunities to extend your learning into real-world experiences at UC San Diego. And we're excited to have representatives from these academic divisions here today, as well as students, to share more with you. With that, I'd like to invite my colleague Chelsea on camera to kick us off and tell us about the Division of Arts and Humanities. Chelsea?
Thanks, Timothy. Hello and welcome. I'm Chelsea Briley in the Division of Arts and Humanities, and I want to tell you a little bit about studying with us at UC San Diego. There'll be a lot of information coming to you today, so please take a moment to scan the QR code you see on your screen. This will take you to our website where you can learn more about what it means to major or minor in arts and humanities. You can major in music under Pulitzer Prize winning composers. You can major in theater and dance under Tony Award winning professors. You can hone your visual arts skills from leading international artists. You can study creative writing in our literature department. You can prepare yourself to tackle the world's most pressing social issues by majoring in history or philosophy. And you can even get your degree in one of our 15 cultural programs in our Institute of Arts and Humanities. Your opportunities are endless. Studying with us is foundational to your education. You will sharpen your skills as the critical thinkers, creative minds, and empathetic citizens that we know today's employers want and need. We also recognize that the makeup of students who major in our areas is incredibly diverse, and we have worked hard to have that diversity reflected in who you see leading your classes. We are proud to say that we have the highest percentage of underrepresented faculty across campus, faculty who are committed to our student success in advancing social justice in their work. People like Wilfrida Terrazas, a highly respected improv musician from Tijuana, who said his class on Mexican folk music is one of its favorites to teach. Or author Carol Arcos Herrera, who said teaching Latin American culture and literature in our border region is both important and impactful. And historian Luis Alvarez, who established our hugely popular Race and Oral History project that brings undergraduates like you into the greater community to study why and how to give voice to those who are often left out. Before I end, I want to bring up two very important things. One, whether you are considering applying directly from high school, transferring from a community college, or returning to higher education later in life. Students who study in the arts and humanities are preparing themselves for a lifetime of personal and professional success. Critical thinking and a deep understanding of cultures is at the heart of our connected global society. In this past year, we are offering new degrees that explicitly fill this need. Our Black Diaspora and African American Studies major, and our Asian American and Pacific Islander Studies minor. 2, and especially for those not thinking of majoring with us, consider declaring a minor as you shape your educational path at UC San Diego. Not only can you minor in each of our departments, but nearly all the cultural programs you see listed here offer minors too. The decision you and your family are going to make is not an easy one, but it's definitely exciting. We are grateful you are considering UC San Diego and considering a degree in arts and humanities. Thank you, Timothy.
Chelsea, thank you so much for that information. Next, I'd like to welcome Camille from the Division of Biological Sciences.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Camille Santa Elena, and I'm here to share some of the broad and exciting offerings the Division of Biological Sciences has available for those interested in the area of life sciences. Our division houses a diverse faculty roster with a wide spectrum of research interests, and many have been honored for excellence in their field by nationally recognized organizations. Diversity, equity, and inclusion lie at the center of the division's mission, with a continuing goal to recruit faculty who are dedicated to making substantial contributions to cultivating a community of inclusion and respect. Our division is ranked first in the nation to graduate women and underrepresented minority students with degrees in biological sciences, and is also top ranked for research and our PhD programs. At the undergraduate level, our division offers 7 undergraduate Bachelor of Science degrees in biology, which include bioinformatics, ecology, behavior, and evolution, general biology, human biology, microbiology, molecular and cell biology, and neurobiology. As well, our division offers a general biology minor for students declared as a non-biology major at UCSD. The minor allows students flexibility with choosing biology coursework based on areas of interest. In addition to our undergraduate program, our division offers a contiguous BS/MS degree program in which qualified biology majors are able to obtain a Master of Science degree within 3 to 5 quarters following receipt of their bachelor's degree. Students enrolled in this program receive extended and in-depth research experience by completing at least 6 consecutive quarters of biological research in one of the many active research labs we have at UCSD. Our degree programs prepare our graduates for careers in biological research, teaching, biotechnology, postgraduate programs in the health sciences such as medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, and more, graduate programs, and many occupational opportunities in life science-oriented businesses. Thanks, Timothy.
Camille, thank you for providing that information. Next, we'd like to transition to Christine with the Jacobs School of Engineering.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're interested in UC San Diego and in the Jacobs School of Engineering. I'm Christine Alvarado. I'm the Associate Dean for Students in the Jacobs School. First, I want to tell you a little bit about our academic endeavors here at UC San Diego. But before I do that, I want to mention that we were recently named last year the 9th best engineering school in the nation. So if you come to UC San Diego, you'll be joining one of the top 10 engineering schools in the country. You'll be able to choose from 6 departments with multiple majors each. There are too many individual majors to go into in detail. So I'll just give you a little bit of an overview of our 6 areas where you can study. In bioengineering, you can look at ways to develop engineering solutions that create technologies that aid human life. In computer science and engineering, you can look at ways to create technological solutions and write computer programs that are at the heart of our information society. In electrical and computer engineering, you can look at the hardware that makes those solutions run. Mechanical and aerospace engineering, you can develop solutions from very large to very small that really deal with the mechanics of how things work today. In nanoengineering, you get really, really small to look at how very, very small materials can solve today's problems. And finally, in structural engineering, you look at structures, how they can be created and maintained to develop solutions to today's problems. It's all about developing solutions to problems. So if you like problem solving, engineering is for you. Now, next slide, please. Now, you may know that engineering is quite challenging, but that's great because there is a thriving student community and tons of support here for you at UC San Diego. I wanted to highlight a few of our community organizations. So we have the Engineering Idea Student Center, committed to providing support to all of our students across the Jacobs School. They run a number of programs so that you can get help with your academics and a connection to the social community. And speaking of that social community, we have 44 student organizations, including 6 organizations specifically devoted to diversity within the field of engineering. Recently, we were named the bronze category of the ASEE, the American Society for Engineering Education Diversity Recognition Program. So diversity and support and inclusion is at the heart of everything that we do. Check out our website, and I hope that you'll join us. Thank you, Timothy.
Christine, thank you so much for that information. Very, very helpful. Before I invite our next guest onto the screen, I do want to remind our guests tonight that we do have admissions officers available behind the scenes who are responding to the question and answer feature. So if you have admissions related questions, our admissions officers will do their very best to get to those questions throughout this presentation. But with that, I'd like to introduce Josh from the Scripps Institution of Oceanography.
Thank you very much, Timothy. I am very happy to be here to talk about the majors and minors that are offered by the Scripps Institution of Oceanography, which has a very long history with the University of California, having first been started in 1903, some 57 years before UC San Diego came into existence. The mission of Scripps Institution of Oceanography is to work to understand and protect our planet and find solutions to the most pressing environmental challenges that we face. Our division offers disciplinary focused majors in geosciences, marine biology, and oceanic and atmospheric sciences. And each of these majors includes very unique experiential learning activities that can include field trips to state and national parks, highly intensive laboratory experiences, as well as occasional opportunities to go on one of the research vessels that is part of the Scripps fleet. And you can see in our picture here, several of our students participating in a field activity with a professor who's teaching the paleobiology course. And this location is actually part of the UC San Diego campus and is part of the UC Natural Reserve System. Beyond the classroom, we encourage all of our students and students from across the campus to engage with our faculty in research and to explore the topics that they find interesting in earth and ocean sciences. We have topics ranging from marine acoustics to coral reefs to seismology and extreme weather, and those are just a few. It gives students a chance to engage in the cutting edge research that is shaping the field of their study, while developing skills and experience that prepares them for a wide range of careers and graduate degree programs. Scripps is also the home to UC San Diego's Interdisciplinary Environmental Systems program. The students in the Environmental Systems program choose a disciplinary emphasis in one of 4 areas, either earth sciences, environmental chemistry, environmental policy, or ecology, behavior, and evolution. And they also receive a broad interdisciplinary background in the environmental aspects of political science and economics. One of the exciting elements of the Environmental Systems program is the Senior Internship Project, which requires students to identify a year-long internship experience that's related to their major. And students can find these internship experiences in research labs at the university, working with government agencies, or taking on projects with nonprofit organizations or private industry. And through these projects, students gain real-world experience in their field while developing practical skills and connections to help them launch their career. In addition to our minors, Scripps offers, to our majors, Scripps offers minors in geosciences, marine sciences, environmental systems, and climate change studies. And the most recent addition is the Interdisciplinary Climate Change Studies minor, which allows students to explore the scientific cause of climate change, but also its social impact as studied by different UC San Diego departments and programs, covering topics like environmental racism, environmental law and policy, the science of environmental justice, and sustainable development. The Climate Change Studies minor includes core courses that introduce students to the UC San Diego researchers responsible for leading climate change research currently being conducted, and also exposes them to the specific actions being taken on our campus as part of the University of California Carbon Neutrality Initiative, which aims to have the UC system achieve carbon neutrality by the year 2025. Every UC San Diego student has access to these majors, minors, research opportunities, and general education courses offered by the Scripps Institution of Oceanography. So if any of this sounds interesting to you, we encourage you to apply and to be part of UC San Diego's effort to better understand and protect our planet and to find solutions to our most pressing environmental challenges. Thank you, Timothy.
Josh, thank you for that information. Very helpful as well. Next, I'd like to invite Franklin, who's going to talk about the physical sciences. Franklin?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Franklin Garrett, Director of Education Initiatives in the Division of Physical Sciences. The Division of Physical Sciences is among one of the founding disciplines at UCSD. Our programs ranked in the top 20, chemistry and biochemistry being 20th and 10th, mathematics 19th, and physics 17th. Our three divisions, our three departments, chemistry, biochemistry, mathematics, and physics, are large. We have large departments with over 400 majors or 4,000 majors. One of the most signature components of the Division of Physical Sciences is our Student Success Center. We launched a Student Success Center which serves as a one-stop shop for all physical sciences students. And this center helps students develop skills beyond the classroom. So we're really looking at professional development for students by the time they graduate, connecting them to industry alumni, internship opportunities, mentorship from industry professionals, and an opportunity to go through work job fairs and connect with different industries. There's a lot of ways to get involved with our division. One amazing way to get involved is through our 19 student organizations. We have 19 different student organizations spreading across our three majors. So anyone who's interested in the Division of Physical Sciences, we hope you can consider joining our learning community. Thank you, Timothy.
Franklin, we appreciate that information. Finally, I'd like to invite Rachel from the Social Sciences to talk about her division. Rachel?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. So the Division of Social Sciences is the largest division on campus. We are home to 16 departments and programs, too many to even list on the slide. But what binds us all together is that we do the science of society. We are focused on doing good in the world and doing it well and making a difference. We have hands-on coursework. So some examples of this would be a Mexican migration program run out of the Anthropology and Sociology department. We have community engagement and faculty mentored research opportunities. We also have the largest service learning program on campus. That's the Partners at Learning program that's run through our Education Studies department, where undergraduate students go into schools and help students to become better learners and hopefully gear up for college success. So with our 15 academic departments and academic programs, we have more than 65 major options. Some of the newest ones include a major in climate change and human solutions from our anthropology department, a major in healthy aging from our human developmental sciences major. And also we have 25 plus minors. And our newest one of our newest ones is computational social science, which is looking at social science principles through a computational lens. That can be added to any major, a social sciences major, or one in one of the other divisions that my colleagues have spoken about already. We are also distinguished by the questions that we ask. So here, instead of listing our departments and programs, I've listed some questions and some topics that our students, our instructors, our graduate students, and our full communities engage with. We're really focused on transforming education through our Education Studies department, through taking political action for social justice. This happens in our political science department. This happens in our sociology department, among many others, and in reducing inequity among its many forms, which even includes our urban studies and planning, our newest department, which has a real estate and development major and an urban studies and planning major. Our communication department is focused on championing free speech. And our critical gender studies program is focused on questioning popular ideas about gender. So if you're interested in these or any of the other questions that are listed here, or any of the departments I didn't have a chance to even discuss with you, I hope you'll check out our social sciences website and learn more about linguistics, global health, Latin American studies, and all the other wonderful majors that make up our division. We're very excited to have you here, and we hope you'll join us. Thanks. Thanks, Timothy.
Rachel, thank you so much. And thank you, colleagues, for sharing more about your academic divisions and opportunities within your divisions and within your departments. We have so many diverse and strong academic programs here at UC San Diego, and I think that, along with our extraordinary faculty, are aspects that make our institution very, very special. We've talked about our academic programs and showcased resources for students to link their classroom learning with real-world experiences. Now, let's hear from some of our current students themselves about their classroom experience and perhaps some of their experiences with research and other experiential learning endeavors. At this moment, I would like to invite our student panelists to join me on camera. As a reminder, for those of you joining us, please continue to use the Q&A feature if you would like to ask questions. We will get to as many questions as we can in the time allotted for us today. Thank you so much for assembling student panelists. Before we get into the Q&A formally per se that the questions we're getting, and we're getting a lot of questions, we'd like to introduce you to our guest tonight. If you would be good enough to provide your first name, your year, the division you're representing, your major, your hometown, and which UC San Diego college you're in. Emily, let's start with you, and if you don't mind popcorning it to the next person afterwards.
Sure, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Emily. I am representing the arts and humanities today. I was a double major in political science and history, so I'm representing history today. I am an alumni for the class of 2021, and I was in John Muir College, and I will popcorn to Clara.
Hi, everyone. My name's Clara. I use she, her pronouns. My hometown is Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so shout out to everyone from the Midwest as well. I'm representing the Scripps Institution of Oceanography department, and I'm a marine biology major, and my college is Muir College as well. And I'll pass it over to Van.
Hi, everyone. I'm Van. I'm a third year. I'm going to be representing the social sciences, and I'm majoring in Bachelor of Science of Psychology. But I'm also planning to minor in human developmental sciences and possibly educational sciences. But if not, I'm just going to be taking a couple of classes from there. I've also taken some classes from the cognitive science department. I'm native to San Diego, and my UCSD college is Sixth College. And let's see, I'll pass it on to Hira.
Hello, my name is Hira, and I'm entering my senior year at UCSD. I'm representing biological sciences. I'm majoring in neurobiology, and my hometown is the Bay Area, and my college is Marshall College. I'll popcorn to Odemuna.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Muno. I am currently representing JSOE. I'm a rising senior, and my major is electrical engineering. So under the ECE department, I'm specializing in machine learning and controls. I was born and raised in Nigeria, so shout out to everyone from the continent of Africa. And my college is Ravel.
Thank you so much, panelists. We really appreciate that. Now, to get to know you a little bit more, I'd like to ask you, each of you actually, and I'll start off with Clara. And Clara, if you would popcorn it to the next person, why did you select UC San Diego?
Yeah, that's a great question. So for me, one thing that was definitely a draw is our access to the ocean and all of the research that does go on down at our Scripps campus, but as well as just I had the honor of being able to tour in person the summer between my junior and senior year of high school. And so being able to walk around the campus, UC San Diego was one of the few schools that I could actually picture myself as a student, not just a visitor. Like I was walking around and I was like, oh, like I could see myself studying there, like coming out of class from that building and stuff, versus just feeling like, oh, I'm just a senior visiting. That's it. So just feeling the welcoming vibe. I know it sounds really cheesy, but like just feeling that I would be like supported and I could go far and be encouraged to follow whatever I was interested in, really showed me that this was the place to be, on top of just like the stellar stats and research for my major. So definitely go with your gut, as not just with stats, but also with like how you feel about the place when you are looking at colleges. And I can popcorn it over to Kira.
Hello. I think for me, it was more research based because I'm majoring in neurobio. So definitely UCSD to me was kind of a hub for research, just because to me it felt like it was one of the most innovative because there's such a diverse like different areas of research that you can enter in. Like even now I struggle to like stay in this lab and not try to add more labs to work in because there's so many things that interest me in pursuing. So that was one thing. Another thing was just because, so I'm a transfer student and I found that here there were definitely like clear resources that I could see that showed that I mattered as a transfer student, because there was like the transfer hub and there's peer coaches and I actually like utilize those resources. So I felt kind of supported in that sense. And then also just like San Diego is just a prime location for different aspects, whether it's just like, it's a beautiful place. And then another reason is just because it is like a biotech hub and it's a research hub. So yeah, I'll popcorn to Van.
Yes, so I'm kind of boring. I kind of just like chose UCSD because it was close by, but I also knew that it had just a lot of opportunities for me to go to that, because like I wasn't quite 100% sure what I wanted to do, and I know being such a large school, like in the social science department, as we said, has 15, 16 departments in it. I knew I wanted to work with people, but I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. So I'm like, okay, I want somewhere that has like a lot of flexibility. So that's why I kind of like UCSD, is because like, you know, as I said before, I kind of dabbled in a bunch of different areas just because we have that opportunity here, which I really appreciate. So yeah, that's why I ended up being at UCSD. And let's see, I'll pass it to Muna.
Yeah, good question. So actually for me, it was really interesting because I went to high school in Houston, Texas. So I'm actually like an out-of-state student. So if anyone has any questions about that, you can hit me up. So I chose here because I wanted to get away from, I wanted to just go somewhere else. I wanted to go to like a different place, live a completely different life. Like I have no family here whatsoever. I literally just moved here and was like, okay, it looked nice. It looks pretty. I like the brochures. So I ended up choosing to come to UCSD, honestly, based on like just the beauty, the appeal, and also mainly because I was looking for like a really good like computer science / like ECE school. Because from high school, like my top focus, I think my senior year was like I wanted to do chemical engineering, but then I took IB Chem HL, and there was a story to that. And I was like, I don't want to do chemistry anymore. And I was really thinking about, you know, what else could I do? And I started looking at all these different schools, and like UCSD, it just had like a mix of everything that I really liked, and just the interdisciplinary fields and just like everything in general. And my best friend, she was really into computer science. So she had me really interested in like electrical and computer engineering. So I applied. And yeah, that's pretty much how I ended up being here. So it's been great so far. And I honestly I came to love it like as I started living here, because I've never been in California before coming to UCSD. So I'll popcorn it to, Emily.
Yeah, so I chose UC San Diego for the sense of community that I got before even taking, you know, one step on campus. Prior to attending UC San Diego, I was a transfer student at a community college. So in, you know, the San Diego area. So I was quite familiar with the school, and while being accepted and kind of going through that phase of choosing which school you want to ultimately attend, I was able to reach out to a lot of professors and staff within my two departments, history and political science. So that was a really great experience being able to speak with them, and they were truly interested in what I wanted to do do in my field, which was go into academia. So that was a really big motivator for me to attend the university. And once I stepped foot on campus, it was even, more of a reassurance when they actually remembered who I was and kind of remembered what I wanted to do and helped me get there. And that same treatment followed me throughout my 2 years at UC San Diego. And they did help me get into, graduate school and going into that career path. So that's really the main reason why I chose a university, because I felt that they actually cared about what I was doing in my career, what I wanted to do, and then remembered me, and then actually, ultimately helped me get to there. So yeah.
Thank you very much. So this information is great because we have so much diversity in terms of experience, in terms of interest. This next question really is important because we want to learn more about what it's like in the classroom. And I'd like to ask each of you, if you could, and starting with you, Van, what has your experience in the classroom been like? And how are you engaging with faculty members at UC San Diego?
Yeah, I feel this really varies depending on what type of class you have and what department you're in. But I can mostly just speak from the psych department since that's where I've taken most of my classes. But all the professors really do try and make sure that the students are like doing all right. And it was especially evident in this past year with the pandemic, how a lot of our professors commendations, knowing that not everyone was affected by the pandemic equally, and a lot of people got hit very hard by it, and so they try to do their best to accommodate for all the students, and that just is a pretty welcoming environment. Even in large classrooms of a couple hundred people, they still act that way in that welcoming way. And aside from that, I really felt supported in my classes, and also I'm going to say this multiple times today, but just if you go into office hours with your professors, they were super happy to talk to you. And that's one of my favorite things to do, is go into office hours. I've even got for classes I haven't been in yet, classes I kind of want to go in just to talk to the professor, and I don't know, the professors are just all really nice. So I don't know, I've had a generally an overwhelmingly positive experience with the classroom. But yeah, that's my take. I'll pass it to Clara.
Yeah, I absolutely agree that overall I've had a really positive experience with all of my Scripps professors as well. I've gotten to do really cool things, and they've in their classes have shown me things that I didn't even think that I could do as an undergrad. Last quarter I took one of our new lab classes, our biological oceanography lab, and so I was getting to drop experiments off of the Scripps pier, which was super cool. And yeah, all of our professors in my experience have been super supportive, whether that's being accommodating with COVID or being accommodating, sometimes I would have to work, I worked shifts over their office hours. So I just send them an email. It's hey, do you mind just staying on Zoom for 15 minutes longer? I just have a couple questions, but I can't quite make it to your office hours. And it'd be super accommodating with that as well. Because they truly do want to see you succeed. And with research, I know a lot of people ask about how do you get involved with it? It's not something super secretive that they don't want you to do, or that they want to exclude you from. They professors love to talk about the research they're doing, and they love to get students involved. And so they want to share that with you if you just even show the slightest interest in what they do. They genuinely do want to help you get involved. And even if they can't necessarily offer you a lab position in their lab, I've had professors I've worked with who are yeah, I don't have a spot open in my lab right now, but if you need someone to write you a letter of recommendation, if you need someone to be listed as a reference, please, 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 let me know and I will do that for you. So yeah, super, super supportive, and super positive experiences as well. But I will popcorn it over to Mundo.
Yeah, thank you. So overall, I think my experience it's been very good. All my professors, actually, I'll say most of them have been pretty good for the most part. One thing I really value about UCSD is the fact that your professors really care about you. If you have any problem, if there's anything that's kind of bothering you, don't be afraid to speak up. That's one thing I really had to learn. In the cases where I didn't have rainbow and sunshine, like positive experiences in the class. Like I still tried to make sure that my voice was heard. Like I reached out to the professor, or if I didn't want to reach out to the professor, like I reached out to like advising or the people that I felt like could be like advocates for me. So I feel like never, like don't underestimate like the power of your voice when it comes to like engaging with faculty, because sometimes you may feel like intimidated, like if you're not the type of person that may necessarily like to speak up, like don't feel like that's just going to be it for you. Like there are other avenues for you to like voice out your opinion and just like get the kind of like help that you need. In person versus like virtual is definitely different experiences for me. Virtual is was kind of sad because then it's like most of my classes, no one was on camera. It was just like me here and my professor speak. It was kind of different. But what I really liked still was that the fact that the professors, they were kind of like still more available. So if you needed any help, you could kind of reach out, and like they're always down to like talk to you and just like really help you through problems and all of that. And in person, which hopefully everything's gonna go back to normal. It's gonna be like this kind of same kind of experience with going to class, like going to office hours, like just kind of forming like a bond with like your professors and just your classmates in general. I think that's like one of the biggest things like with my major in general. That's just kind of how it's been. And I've taken classes in like a couple of different departments, so I've kind of seen like just like how different like types of professors and different like departments operate. So it's honestly, it's been a really good experience overall. And yeah, like just maximize like all the resources you have. Yeah, so that's pretty much all that I kind of want to say. So I'll popcorn it to Hira.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what everyone else has said. I can obviously only speak for biological sciences. I think definitely office hours made a huge difference in terms of engaging with faculty. I was actually like able to build a relationship with them, and like they were able, especially because for me personally, the past year has been my only experience at UCSD. So it has been all online, or almost all online. But they've been like truly understanding. And what I really liked is that almost like all of my professors had asked for feedback on how to improve their classroom and how to improve online learning and just like our experiences overall, which I think is just like, it says a lot about them as professors and as teachers. And I think for me personally, I saw from what I was learning in the classes that they truly want you to succeed and apply the knowledge outside of the classroom. So like whether it's like clinical based questions in physio, or it's like questioning even the logic behind like a diagram in a genetics textbook, or even just like how to use Excel properly. They were all kind of application based, which is how I like to learn, and I personally learn best. And on top of that, they kind of understood that people learn differently. So there was a lot of different platforms for learning. Like there were like recorded podcasts. There were like obviously office hours, worksheets, stuff like that. So yeah, and even with office hours, they were super welcoming, and I never felt like I would be like, oh, it's probably a dumb question. They're like, no, it's a great question. So that was always nice to hear and very encouraging. So I never felt like intimidated to ask my bio professors anything. So yeah. I think Emily.
Yeah, kind of just repeating what everyone kind of said already. I think that the professors do a really fabulous job of connecting with students. Another great way that wasn't pointed out quite yet to connect with students is also with that you can connect with your professors is asking to work on independent research projects. I think that's also a great way to find an advisor, work with someone that's actually, in your field. That's a great way to get involved in research or know your field. Just even for a quarter, working on an independent research project can really help you get settled. And just, go into your own kind of independent learning. If you're interested in going to a field that isn't offered or like a subject within your field that isn't offered as a class, that's a great way to do so. And also earn those letters of recommendation too at the same time. So, going to office hours, getting that independent research one-on-one bonding time, that's a great way to connect and get those letters of recommendation for the future when you're going to graduate school or trying to find a job in the future. There's a few different programs to do that as well. There's TRELS, which is, I'm not sure the acronym, it's kind of blanking on me. I'm so sorry about that. But it is a program where you get $1,000 stipend every single quarter, and you're able to, do independent research with a faculty member, or there's also the honors programs, which are, really, really popular for students as well. I had the chance to write 2 honors theses during my senior year. And that was a really great experience to connect with 2 different faculty members as well, and also help me get those letters of recommendation. So yeah, I really love how connected and accessible the professors are on our campus. And yeah, I'll let Timothy take it away.
Thank you very much. And one thing that's crystal clear based on your feedback and based on the feedback from what we've seen, our faculty really care about our undergraduate students, and they want to make sure that our undergraduate students have a great experience at UC San Diego. That is something I think that we really want to point out, especially with the pandemic and all the challenges that everybody's really encountered. Our faculty have really stepped up, and they've really made it clear that our students are the #1 priority on this campus. I want to do this next question also via popcorn style. This will also provide us with an opportunity to learn a little bit more about expanding on what some of you have already said. In terms of research and hands-on experience, experiential learning, we've been talking a lot about. What research opportunities have any of you been engaged in or plan to engage in, and or maybe special hands-on experiential learning, anything of this nature where it's sort of supplementing what you're doing in the classroom? And Hera, let's start with you with the biological sciences.
Yeah, so starting this past year, I began working at the Center for Neurorepair at the UCSD School of Medicine. So my specific research focuses on gene therapy for Alzheimer's disease. And so this summer I'm on campus because I received the Liddell Family Scholarship for Science and Engineering. So I've been working in the same lab, but now I'm actually working on like my own independent project. I presented at a conference, and now I'm working on my own final paper. One thing I'd like to note, which I thought was it showed that I was like valued as a student, was I'll be transparent. I was rejected from the Trellis program for the summer. And I talked to the coordinator and I asked her, like, I still want to pursue research like over the summer. What can I do? And she was like, okay, like I'll look into something else you can kind of do. And so she was the one who kind of like put this out there for me and kind of gave me more opportunities to apply and like find other ways to get into the research that I was specifically interested in. Just because I showed that I was really passionate about it. And like I showed that, I want to improve in whatever aspect. So yeah. I plan on staying in this lab for this upcoming year. And I think it was also really nice in one sense where, because I started in fall at UCSD, I got into a lab in winter. I had already like started talking in fall, and I was able to get a position in the winter. So yeah, I'll popcorn to Clara.
Yeah, so through my second and a little bit into my third year, I was an intern in our dolphin cognition lab, which is actually part of our cognitive science department. But I got to participate in it even as a marine biology major, which was really cool. So I spent I think it was like a year and a half maybe, collecting data on the dolphin behaviors or of the behaviors of the dolphins at the Brookfield Zoo in Chicago. So my lab looked a lot different than I guess your stereotypical lab. So I basically had 3 giant computer screens in front of me, and I had 9 different camera angles. So I was basically like the security guard for the dolphin pen, I guess. And so I just recorded their behaviors each time they passed the tank. And I actually got involved with that research position thanks to my Scripps academic advisors. They send out emails whenever a professor is looking for a marine bio undergrad to work in their lab or work in their internship or anything like that. And so I just applied from their emails, which was super cool. And I worked on that project for the past year and a half. Now I am volunteering as a virtual volunteer, and I'm actually helping ID. I get sent pictures of dolphins that have washed ashore, and so I am using their protocol to ID whether these dolphins were just died of natural causes or if it was due to bycatch, which is getting caught in fishing gear and stuff like that. So that's what I'm currently doing right now. And that's a virtual volunteering program. But I will popcorn it over to Emily.
Yeah, so one thing that I definitely recommend beyond professors is to make friends with your graduate students on campus. We have a lot of graduate students that are doing phenomenal research, and that is actually how I got my first research position. I hit the ground running right when I entered in as a transfer, and that first month I was able to get offered a research position doing an original data set or working on an original data set focusing on violence in Colombia with a PhD student. I worked with her for about a year and a half before going into my senior honors thesis, where I again looked at violence in sub-Saharan Africa. For both theses, I looked at violence in sub-Saharan Africa, specifically in South Africa. So yeah, it was just a really great experience being able to work firstly with a PhD student who helped guide me throughout the thesis as well, along with actual faculty in both departments. But yeah, they're incredibly intelligent folks. I think they're a little bit easier to talk to sometimes than professors. They're usually a little bit closer in age too, but they're incredibly smart people. They're going to be professors in the near future. So I definitely recommend to reach out to those folks too. They have a lot of different resources available. And also, they work in labs. They have their own different, colleagues that they know that might be, working on something that you might be interested in. So I definitely recommend to reach out to those folks. And then above all, grad students most of the time grade your papers. So your professors typically don't grade your papers at university. Typically it is grad students. So definitely recommend to help, go into their office hours as well and pick their brain. Sometimes they can have some really great resources available to you too. So yeah, that's a little bit about my research during my time at UC San Diego. And I'll pass it on to Van.
So I haven't done any or a whole lot of research like in a traditional way because I personally am not super interested in research, but there's a lot of research opportunity at UCSD such that I accidentally got caught up leading a student-run research project in my first beginning of second year, where we kind of looked at the correlations between procrastination, perfectionism, and stress in students. And that was kind of an experience just because I got to learn about all the logistical sides of running a research experiment because we kind of we as students kind of did it from start to finish, getting approval to do some stuff and legally get participants. So it was kind of a neat part to see behind research. And as for what I'm planning in the future, something I'm pretty excited to do isn't quite research, but it's hands-on learning in the educational science department. They have courses or a lot of courses where you actually go into local schools, like elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools, where you kind of interact with actual students and apply what you learn, and actually just help students depending on what type of class you're taking. So in interest of time, I'll pass it on to Muno.
Yeah, thank you. So just like Van, honestly, my research experience has been very kind of sporadic. So I've actually done 5 research positions, which is so insane to think about because my first 2 years, I had no interest in research. I took this visual arts class that was about computing and arts, and I was amazed by the type of work that the artists and engineers were doing with AI and machine learning and all that. So I started getting super interested in the field of design and engineering. So I reached out to, just like Emily said, reaching out to PhD students. I reached out to one of my friend's TAs who she introduced me to, and I basically told her I'm interested in this thing called research. How can I get involved? I don't know what I'm walking into, but I want to kind of learn. And she was like, oh, cool. I'm currently working on this project that with the design lab at UCSD. And it was on people-centered automation. And we're working on kind of level 2+/3 self-driving cars and understanding what verbal communication within the space of self-driving cars look like. So that was kind of my research for a year. And it was just amazing. As an electrical engineering student, I'm kind of non-traditional in the sense that I'm involved in more so the intersection between the social and technical aspects of computing. So I would definitely say the broader story for me is just really try to explore your horizons, you like, if there's something that's really interesting in you, like try to like look outside also, because there's so many resources within UCSD. Like I didn't even know the design lab was a thing until she told me about the research opportunity, which was really great. And then another one I did, which was like AIP, which is it's a research class. It was kind of, it was with the Arthur Clarke Center for Human Imagination. And my research was on like extended reality and looking at how do you program pretty much like non-player characters on Unreal Game Engine. I have no idea what game engines are or anything, but it was still really cool. Like I just really got to like learn a lot about like extended reality and the whole like space of the whole space of virtual reality and all that, which to me like was really interesting and all. And this fall, I'm going to be researching with the CS department on natural language processing, which is really cool because it was a professor that reached out looking for Black engineering students that are interested in the space of AI. And she reached out to me and she was like, you know, just send this form out to like students who may be interested. And that's pretty much how I kind of like got involved with that research position. So yeah, in general, just explore out wide and find out what your interests are. Like if you cannot reach out to a professor, there's still other spaces which are equally cool at UCSD to explore. So yeah, thank you. I would going to, I'm not sure who hasn't spoken.
I think all of you have already responded to that question.
Okay, cool.
It's hard to keep track. It's a lot of good information. So you can see there's a lot of different kinds of opportunities for all the different majors. And you can see it's very intersegmental. And you don't have to necessarily do research in whatever your discipline is. There's just so much opportunity to really explore what you're going to be passionate about. We have time for probably one more question. We have about 6 minutes left. I'd like to ask each of the panelists, again in popcorn style, what has been the one thing you've really enjoyed most about UC San Diego? And I'd like to start this off with Muñoz, if you could, please.
Yeah, so for me, my favorite experience at UCSD has been being part of the National Society of Black Engineers, which is one of the diversity engineering organizations Dr. Alvarado had mentioned in the beginning. So it's just a really nice community. Like coming to UCSD, I had no idea what I was walking into. And then I met a group of Black engineering students that were kind of like, some of them were like my major, some of them like were in just different majors. And I was just really interested and intrigued by the type of community that was built like around that. And I started getting super involved in most of like the programs and most of the events and everything that was happening like my first year. And I ended up being like the treasurer and I was president for the org last year. So it's like a super great opportunity for you to just connect with like-minded people, or also like just honestly connecting with other people in general. There are 6 different diversity engineering organizations. We have like such a huge community, and I think it's one of the best ways like for you to just build community, especially like as an underrepresented group in general. So definitely like student orgs has been like my time, and I'm so grateful for being part of it at UCSD. I'll go to Clara.
Yeah, so I think what my favorite thing about UCSD has just been being pushed outside of my comfort zone in the best way possible. Like I said, I was dropping experiments off of the Scripps Pier, which is something I didn't think I could do. I was doing research my second year as an undergraduate, which I didn't think that I would be doing either. I've taken on leadership roles within my college. I'm currently working to plan our incoming first year and transfer students orientation programs, which is something I didn't think I'd be doing. So I've just had absolutely amazing experiences with like really pushing me to try new things and learn more about what I really want to do in my post-grad life, which is a little scary to think about, but I've had all these experiences that have really helped me form those decisions. So yeah, just getting outside of my comfort zone has been the most amazing thing about my time here. And I'll popcorn it over to Van.
Let's see, the thing that I really enjoyed most was like joining the psychology club / like psych honor society my first year, just because like the people in it were kind of academically driven, but also like they also know the struggles of being a student for sure. It's like just a place to be with a lot of a lot of your peers. It was a good social outlet and a good academic outlet for me. It's also how I, as someone who wasn't super interested in research, ended up doing like that, like a bunch of stuff with research, just by product of just being there. And that was a lot of fun. And I mean, it's just, I recommend joining a student org on campus, just for like, is like, regardless of where you go for college, just like look at the student orgs that exist and just like try and get involved in one or several. So that would just be like what I really liked and my advice to everyone. So I'll popcorn to Emily.
Yeah, my favorite experience was being able to make a impact in my community at UC San Diego, and then also in my field in political science. So doing research on violence in sub-Saharan Africa, on South Africa, which isn't really talked about. I think there's like 2 actual like written papers about it. And then also on Colombia, which that data set is original. Nothing's been done like that before. So we completed that last year. It's been something that I've really, used as a passion project and will continue on into graduate school when writing my master's thesis and also hopefully a doctoral dissertation on that as well. Another aspect that I really felt that impacted my community was being able to run several basic needs drives through student government in Muir College. So during the pandemic, I was able to do a lot of different drives for our community, and that was 2 of the most monumental and impactful events that happened to me at UC San Diego, and that kind of made my whole experience worthwhile at the university. So yeah, I'll popcorn to Hira.
Yeah, I'll try to keep this short. I think there are 2 main aspects. It's kind of hard to pick like one favorite experience. I think for me, it was just like coming to an environment that was super welcoming and seeing so many students who are ambitious in their own interests. Because I came from like high school, which was like super like toxically competitive. And then I went to community college, which didn't have that many diverse opportunities that I wanted. And then coming here, it was just like a really good breath of fresh air to like just have a whole immersive experience. If I had to say like a specific favorite thing, it would definitely be the organizations. I remember like before I even attended, I like looked through the entire list of club orgs and I just started emailing whichever and just saying I was interested. So there were like 2 main ones that I've been pretty involved in, the Neurodegenerative Diseases Awareness Association and then the Biological Sciences Student Association. And so I'm on the board for both of those and just being like in a leadership position, but also making connections with other students as well as like industry professionals and even professors and stuff like that. I wouldn't even be here if I didn't if I wasn't in one of those clubs. So yeah, just all around a good experience.
Well, thank you so much, panelists. Please join me in thanking all of our panelists today. We really appreciate the information you've provided. It's really provided us with an inside look into what it's like to be a student at UC San Diego. I want to say thank you to our community of staff, faculty, and students for sharing more about UC San Diego academics and experiential learning opportunities and research. We understand we had a short time together today, but we encourage you to continue learning more about our academic offerings via our website, and you can see here some additional information. If you have any follow-up questions at all, the Office of Admissions contact information is available on the screen. Take a screenshot of this. You can email our office at admissionsreply@ucsd.edu or visit our website, admissions.ucsd.edu, to view resources and additional ways to connect with us through virtual advising, by the telephone, by the phone on the computer, and also social media. Be sure to also explore our events page at admissions.ucsd.edu/events and register for upcoming virtual events to continue learning more about UC San Diego. And for our counselors who are visiting with us tonight, visit admissions.ucsd.edu